And now we're going to be looking into equivalent fractions. Remember, equivalent fractions, they look different and they sound different. They'll look different and they'll sound different, but they really stand for the exact same number. So here I have two fractions that look different. These are my two units. One of those units is divided into two equal parts, and so that's half. And the other unit is divided into eighths, and if I take 4 of those eighths, so 1/2, 4/8. They look different. They might sound different, but they stand for the same amount. So equivalent fractions are two or more fractions that look different, sound different, 1/2, 4/8, but are the same amount, okay? Just like a nickname. In order to complete an equivalent fraction, I have to figure out SHFU, some helpful form of 1, to complete each equivalent fraction. Remember, any number times 1 is that same number, and any fraction times SHFU is an equivalent fraction. So I have thirds, and I'm going to 18ths. Thirds times what will give me 18ths? Well, first I have to figure out SHFU, and that will tell me this other fraction. Thirds times what will give me 18ths? Well, 3 times 6th. And so I'll have to use 6/6 here. And now I have two fractions being multiplied. 6 times what gives me 12? 6 times 2 equals 12. And so 6/6 times 2/3 will give me a fraction. 6/6 times 2/3 will give me 12/18. So 2/3 and 12/18 are equivalent fractions. 9/12 equals 81 what? What kind of fraction am I converting from? Well, I'm going to start with the fraction that I know. I know that I'm multiplying by some form of 1. I have to just figure out what was the helpful form of 1 here. Well, I don't know my denominators, so I'll start by comparing my numerators, those top numbers. 9 something times 9 equals 81. 9 times 9 equals 81. So SHFU is based on ninths, and this would be 9 ninths. Next, 18 somethings is equivalent to 90 125ths. And so I asked myself, okay, well, what is SHFU? What can I multiply by here? 18 times what will give me 90? I notice, let's see, 18 times 10 would be 180, which is too big. And so I'm going to try 18 times 5. I'm going to do a side calculation. I just have to figure out what is SHFU based on. 18 times 5. To solve this problem, I'm going to do 5 times 8, then 5 times 10, and I will add and regroup as I go. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 10 is 50, plus 4 is 90. So, yep, if I multiply it by 5/5, 5 times 18 is 90, and so 5 times what equals 125. And so I am going to do the side calculation. Use division to create 5 equal size groups from 125 items. Now that I have written and interpreted my problem, place value is the key. There's 5 groups in 100. There's not enough hundreds. Going to downgrade and exchange to tens. I can use 10 tens. That leaves me with 25. Not enough tens to go around. Downgrade and exchange. 25 units. I can absolutely use that chunk. And there's no remainder. 5 times, well, if I passed out 10 tens, then each group got 2 tens. If I passed out 25 units, each group got 5 units. And so 18 25ths. Again, if you don't know your multiplication tables, you also don't know your division tables, and so you're going to struggle to solve this problem. But the concept is the same. Study your multiplication tables. Master them. 3 watts is equivalent to 18 24ths. So, first thing you do is figure out what is going to be Shifu. 3 times what gives me 18? 3 times 6 gives me 18. And so this will be 6 sixths. So now I ask myself, 6 times what equals 24? 6 times 4 equals 24. So 3/4. So 3/4 is equivalent to 18 24ths. How many halves equals 7/14? Well, I need to figure out Shifu first. Halves times what will give me 14ths? 2 times 7, and so this is going to be 7 sevenths, excuse me. 7 times what gives me 7? 7 times 1 gives me 7. So 1/2 is equivalent to 7/14. How many sixths are equivalent to 36 54ths? Well, let's see. Sixth, let's see. How many sixths? 6 times what gives me 54? 6 times 9 gives me 54, so this is going to be 9 ninths. 9 times, so now I can figure out this numerator. 9 times what gives me 36? 9 times 4 equals 36. And so 4/6 is equivalent to 36 54ths. And so each time, oops, I did not complete this problem, did I? 9 times 12 equals 108. I kept looking at that thinking, what's wrong? There we go. 2 watts is equivalent to 8/36. Well, just need to figure out Shifu first. 2, what times 2 gives me 8? 4 times 2 gives me 8, so 4/4 here. And now 4 times what gives me 36? 4 times 9 gives me 36. How many fifths is equivalent to 6/15ths? How many fifths is equivalent to 6/15ths? Well, gonna look for Shifu. What times 5? What times fifths will give me 15ths? Thirds times fifths, so I'll need 3/3. 3 times what gives me 6? 3 times 2. And so that tells me that 2/5 is equivalent to 6/15ths. How many sevenths are equivalent to 2/14ths? Well, I'm going to figure out Shifu first. What times sevenths will give me 14ths? Halves. 2 halves here. So 2 times what gives me 2? 2 times 1 equals 2.